Hello, everybody. My name is Cassandra Covo, and I welcome you to my presentation and poster. This is going to be just a brief overview of the research that we conducted, and I have included my contact information at the end of this short presentation. So if you'd like to reach out to me to discuss anything within this poster or otherwise, please do so. So I have included a copy of my poster here. It's titled PTSD Symptoms Predict Post-Deployment Life Adjustment in Combat Veterans. Our study examined how PTSD symptoms impacted veterans exposed to combat. And as we go through here, we'll look at some of the details. So the participants we used were 521 U.S. combat veterans. As you can see, most of them were men, and about 56% of them were white, 24% mixed race, 14.2% Hispanic or Latinx, and 7.6% were other minorities. Also, almost all of them, 96.7%, were PTSD diagnosed. Most had extensive deployment history, meaning they had over 6 deployments, and about 83%, it has been greater than 5 years since their last deployment. These participants were recruited through veteran organizations and Prolific. These are a short list of the measures that we used: military to civilian questionnaire, PTSD checklist civilian version, deployment risk and resilience survey, and here we used just a few of the subscales of the DRRI-2, including combat exposure, prior stressors, and post-battle experiences. We also used the brief resilience scale and the general self-efficacy scale. So our research was conducted using hierarchical multiple regression analysis, and we did a 3-step process. In step 1, we used the demographics, including gender identity, age, racial, ethnic identity, and highest level of education completed, resulting in 5.3 total variance. In step 2, we included negative life events, and we also included total number of years of service. And then finally, in step 2, that resulted in 14.5% total variance. Then in step 3, we included PTSD symptoms and protective factors and combat experiences. As you can see here, step 3 had our largest total variance at 22% total variance, along with the strongest beta value for PTSD symptoms at 0.266. So what do these results mean? Basically, PTSD symptoms are the primary driver of post-deployment adjustment problems. Even when controlling for the demographics, negative life events, and protective factors, PTSD symptoms remain the strongest predictor of reintegration difficulties. This research really identifies PTSD symptoms as the critical intervention target for improving veteran reintegration post-deployment. It provides empirical evidence for prioritizing immediate PTSD treatment and highlights the need for comprehensive support systems addressing both direct combat effects and PTSD symptoms to improve veteran outcomes. Based on our research results, the emphasis should really be placed on immediate PTSD treatment for veterans experiencing symptoms during and post-deployment. Additionally, institutions should focus efforts on community involvement as a first line of defense to continue progress towards destigmatizing, seeking, and accepting support. Future research should prioritize examining protective factors, including community engagement, peer, social support networks, and resilience-building interventions. And here I've also included the Veterans Crisis Line as a reminder that people who are experiencing suicidal ideations can always call 988 and press 1. Our study did have a few limitations, including gender imbalance. The population we used was predominantly a male sample, and so this is very limiting. Research cannot necessarily be generalized to the female veterans. So future research should definitely focus on a wider female veteran sample. Another limitation was the cross-sectional design. We can't determine causality or timing. With most participants over 5 years post-deployment and having multiple deployments, we're likely seeking chronic PTSD effects. We can't tell when symptoms started, whether they accumulated across deployments, or how the relationship between PTSD and adjustment changes over time. So the need for longitudinal research is great. And then deployment frequency. Like I stated before, we don't necessarily know the intricate details of the deployments or when PTSD started, if PTSD worsened over the frequency of deployments. So it's difficult to disentangle cumulative effects from the cross-sectional snapshot. And I briefly mentioned some future considerations. So future research should really look at PTSD symptoms across deployments. Here's some suggestions just for some questions. Did more deployments worsen PTSD symptoms? Did people with PTSD symptoms deploy more or less? And how has PTSD severity changed over time since their last deployment? So that was just a real brief overview of the research done here. And like I said, here's my contact information if you'd like to discuss anything further. And I just greatly thank you for your time stopping by my presentation and poster. Have a great conference. Bye-bye.